Good morning, dear students. How are you all? Hope you all are fine and safe at home. I am Kamna Joseph and I'll be taking chemistry and biology classes for you online. So, till the time we are into this lockdown period of time, let's cooperate with the government and the school and also enjoy this wonderful experience, which is a new experience for almost every one of us. Well, moving on with the syllabus, first of all, let me introduce the textbook which we'll be using this session 2020. The book which we'll be using is Chemistry. Let me show you on the slide. We'll be using this book, Essential ICSE Chemistry for Class 6th by A. Mishra. And the publication is Bharti Bhavan publication. Till the class 5th, you all were studying science, and in science you were studying the three subjects, that is physics, chemistry and biology. But now, that one subject which you are studying in class 5 will be distributed into three subjects. Now you'll be not studying it as one subject, but as three subjects. So dear students, you'll be studying physics, chemistry and biology. Students, as you know, that science is very important subject and it also plays a very important role in our lives. So now let's begin with the class. Well, if we talk about today's arena, we can say that science has made our lives better in many ways. Till class 5, when you were studying science, you were studying about surroundings, plants, animals, birds, soil, evaporation, boiling, and many more things. But now onwards, when you will study that science is divided into three subjects. First of all, let me tell you what is science. I hope the slide is clear to you. What is science? Science is the subject that includes the study of various experiments performed by a scientist with all observations recorded and inferences concluded, which means in this subject, we mainly emphasize on experiments and its observations. Science is very useful everywhere, and because of science only, our lives have become, and it's becoming, moreover, better and better day by day. The term science has been derived from the Latin word scientia, which means knowledge. And of course, when we study science, whether it's physics, chemistry, or biology, we gain knowledge, which we apply in various fields. Whether we are working at home, whether we are on the road, whether we are moving anywhere, we can apply different aspects of it in these fields. Well, the people who carry out various experiments to study science are called as scientists. Now, as I have already discussed, that science has three branches, that is physics, biology, and chemistry. So today we'll be dealing with chemistry. First of all, let me tell you what you'll be studying in physics. Physics deals with the different forms of energy, that is, example, heat, light, sound, etc. And in biology, what you'll be studying, it will be dealing with the study of living organisms, for example, plants and animals. When we talk about plants, the study of plants is known as botany, and the study of animals is known as zoology. Well, coming to the third branch of science, which deals with the study of substances. In chemistry, you will be learning about their composition, methods of preparation, its reactions, and other substances. Means, in the composition, the chemistry means what that substance contains. When we talk about methods of preparation, means how they are prepared. And finally, its reactions with other substances where the transformation takes place. Now, as you know that this important branch of science deals with the study of substances and transformations, let us talk about substances, or you can say matter. I suppose that you all are. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. That is called as matter. For example, if I say mobile, which has connected us right now, is a matter. So now you can check it whether the fact which you are learning is correct or not. So just keep your mobile down where you are sitting and you can see that it occupies some space. And now when you take it up in your hand, you can feel that it has some weight. So this proves that yes, it's a matter. There are many more examples which you can see around you. An apple, a person, a table, air that we breathe in, water which we drink, which is also used for many various other purposes, a computer, a paper, iron, and many more things we can see around you. Everything around us is made up of matter. Transformation. Here are a few examples. Now let's talk about transformation. What is transformation? It is a kind of change that takes place every moment. Means the changes which we see around us from morning to evening, the food which is cooked, the meal which is cooked, when it is raw, you cannot eat it. When it is cooked, it can be eaten. That means there is some transformation taking place in it. Now, this transformation is of two types. Transformation means a change. Changes are of two types: physical change and chemical change. When we talk about physical change, let's talk what is a physical change first of all. A change in which there is no change in the substance. For example, let me take you to your kitchen. If you open your fridge and take out the ice cubes from it and keep it for some time out of the refrigerator, you will find that ice will start melting. It will change from solid state to liquid state. That is transformation. You will find there is change taking place only in the state of the substance. The substance is changing from solid state to liquid state. If we talk about freezing of water, when we keep water into the refrigerator, now the same liquid will turn into solid state. It will be changing into solid state. If we say that water is changed into solid state, do you find that the substance is entirely changed? No, it's not. The substance is entirely not changed. Only the state of the substance is changed. That is, from the liquid state, it is changing to solid state. Now, if I take another example, that is boiling of water. If water is boiled, you find that after few minutes, it starts changing into gaseous form, that is vapor form. So when water is boiling, the liquid state of the substance is changing into gaseous form. Do you find any change in the substance in all these three examples? That is ice, melting of ice, freezing of water, or boiling of water? No, we don't find any change in the substance. The substance, water, in all the three changes remains water only. So we consider it as a physical change. But when we talk about a chemical change, what is it? In a chemical change, there is change in the entire substance. Means the properties of the substance changes. For example, again I'll take you to your kitchen where you find this example, curdling of milk. Your must be making curd out of milk. When milk is kept for few hours, putting into it a spoon or maybe two spoons of curd, mixing it well into the milk, and we keep it for few hours. After few hours, it completely changes into curd. That means after those few hours, the milk no more remains the same. Its property is changed. The substance which we get is entirely a new substance. That is what is called as chemical change. I'll talk about another example, that is burning of paper or wood. What happens when paper burns? Actually, paper or wood are made up of a substance called cellulose. And it is the cellulose that burns, and while burning, cellulose takes up this oxygen from the air and gives or forms two new substances. That is, carbon dioxide and water vapor. So in this change, we see that a new substance is formed. What is that new substance? The new substance is carbon dioxide and water vapor. So we consider it as a chemical change. What do we call it? A chemical change. Whenever a substance undergoes a chemical change, we say that it has been transformed into another substance. Thus, in this case of burning of paper or wood, we say that cellulose is transformed into carbon dioxide and water vapor on burning. And whenever there is transformation in a substance, we say that a chemical reaction has taken place. Thus, when cellulose is burning, chemical reaction is taking place. Many more such reactions takes place in our day-to-day lives. For example, cooking of meals, digestion of food, growth of plants, animals, etc. When a transformation is taking place, the original substance is getting transformed into a new substance. So we can say that the substance which is formed or used in the chemical reaction or in a chemical change, you can say, is a chemical. I suppose you are getting it. Let me revise what we have discussed. I think I am moving on very fast. Let me go a bit slow. First of all, we had discussed about chemistry. What is chemistry? Chemistry is the branch of science which deals with the study of substances, their composition, which means what that substance contains, its methods of preparations, means how they are prepared, and also its reactions with other substances. Then we have discussed what is a substance. When we talk about a substance, anything that occupies space and has mass is matter. I gave you the example of mobile. Let me talk about any other example. If we take a book, and keep it on a desk. That book is going to occupy some space over that desk. So that space occupied by the book is its volume, and this book has some weight also. So this concludes that yes, the book is a kind of matter. Then we have discussed about transformation. What is transformation? It is a kind of change that takes place every moment. There are so many changes taking place around us. For example, in the morning you must have had breakfast. Your mother must have cooked it. The raw food is cooked, it's prepared, and when you eat it, it is then also changed into another substance. That is, fine particles are formed when it reaches to your stomach. Okay, so here we see two changes. First of all, the raw food is cooked, it is prepared, the meal is prepared, the breakfast is prepared. When we eat it, we chew it, we make it into much more finer particles, and when it goes into our mouth, when it is into our mouth, and finally when it reaches into the stomach, there are so many enzymes acting over it to break it down into much more simpler form so that it can be easily digested by our body. It can be easily digested in our body. Then we were talking about physical change. Physical change is a change in which there is no change in the substance. For example, I gave the example of ice, water, and vapor. Ice, when it is melting, it is changing into a liquid, that is water. The same water, when we put it into the refrigerator again, it will be freezed and it will be changed into solid form. Then, if we boil water, water will be changing into vapor form. This vapor is also a form of water only. So in all these three examples, we don't find any change in the original substance. The original substance remains the same. Only the state of the substance is changing in all the three examples. So we consider it as a physical change. But when we talk curdling of milk, in curdling of milk, what is actually happening? Milk is boiled and into it maybe a few spoons of curd is mixed properly and the complete content is left over for few hours, maybe 6 to 7 hours. And after those 6 to 7 hours, what do we find? We find that the milk has lost its property of being milk and it is entirely changed into a new substance, that is curd. Then another example is burning of paper or wood. What happens when paper burns? Actually, paper or wood are made of a substance called cellulose, and it is the cellulose that burns. And while burning, or forms two new substances, that is carbon dioxide and water vapor. So in this change, we see that a new substance is formed. So we consider it as a chemical change. Whenever a substance is undergoing a chemical change, we say that it has been transformed into a new substance. In case of burning of paper, the cellulose is transformed into carbon dioxide and water vapor upon burning. So there is formation of new substance. Now let's see more examples. Here you can see physical change. In physical changes, matter changes form, that is the state of the substance, but not the chemical identity. Means the original substance remains what it is. You can just see the example of melting of ice, chopping of wood, shredding of paper, mixing gray and green marbles. In all these four examples also, you can just see that the shape or state of the substance is changing. In first case, melting of ice, the ice is changing into liquid form, that is water. In chopping of wood, wood is chopped down into smaller pieces. The shape may be changed. The original substance, wood, will remain the same. In shredding of paper, you can just see there are small bits of paper, but when it is shred into small bits, you can just see that it is not changing into a new substance. The paper is remaining the same. It's paper only. Then, when we take another example, mixing of gray and green marbles. You must have seen marbles. You can just see here, there are two types, green and gray color marbles. When it is put together, do you find any change? There is any new substance formed? No, it's just the mixing of the gray and green marbles. So, I just meant in this physical changes, there is no formation of new substance. Only the state or shape of the substance is changed, but the chemical identity remains the same. It's not going to change in any case. Then, examples of chemical changes. In chemical change, a chemical reaction occurs and new products are formed. As you can see the examples here, I gave the example of burning of wood or paper, and you have understood also now that the cellulose is the main component present in the wood, which is actually burning, and when it is burning, it is forming carbon dioxide and water vapor. These are the two new substances which are formed. So what is actually happening? The wood is no more wood after it is burnt. It is transformed into a new substance. That is what is called as a chemical change. Rotting of banana, you can see another example. Then mixing of vinegar and baking soda. This you can check at home also. You can ask your mother to help you. You can take a pinch of a pinch of baking soda and 1 spoon of vinegar. And into that 1 spoon of vinegar, if you put this 1 pinch of baking soda, you will find that there is reaction taking place. You will find bubbles coming up, which is called as effervescence. So such type of change is called as chemical change. Another example is the fireworks, which you are well aware of. During the Diwalis, the Shera, you are using the crackers. When it is lit, it shows transformation. So many gases are formed in that. So there is a chemical change which is taking place, and that is forming a new substance. So now I suppose that you have understood properly what is. So if you want to note it down, it's not if you want to note it down, but I suppose that you should note it down. What is a physical change? When no new substance is formed after the change, it is called a physical change. Physical changes are therefore usually reversible. Reversible in the sense, I'll just give you the same example which we have discussed before, that is melting of ice. Later, it is changing from solid state to liquid state. So what do we see? Is there formation of any new substance? No, there is no formation of new substance. But then why do we say that it is a change? Yes, there is change taking place. The change is taking place in the state of the substance. The solid state is changing into liquid state. And that is why we say that such changes are usually reversible. The same ice cubes which you have kept out of the refrigerator and which is transformed, or you can say which is changed into liquid form, that is water, if you keep that same water in the refrigerator and cool it down, you will find after some time that ice cubes are formed again. So isn't it reversible? Yes, it is reversible. Another example is melting of wax, and you see that the wax keeps melting. We try to remove it with hand and we try to collect it, but that wax which is melted, when it is cooled down, you find that melted wax is solidified, not changing its property, solid state to liquid state. So that is why we consider it also as a physical change. Now coming up to chemical changes. When a new substance is formed after the change, it is a chemical change. And generally, the chemical changes cannot be reversed by simple physical means. For that, we need to apply certain chemical means, and also all the chemical changes cannot be reversed. Only few examples are there that we'll be discussing later. Let's first talk about chemical change only. Well, many chemical changes are irreversible, as just now we have discussed. Example is burning of candle. Now you must be thinking, in the first case, Miss told that it is melting of wax, and in the second example, she is telling that it is burning of candle. Well, this melting of wax and burning of candle, they are physical as well as chemical change. It takes place as physical as well as there is physical and chemical change which is taking place. When we talk about melting of wax, it's not only the wax which is melting. You must have observed that there is a thread in between the wax in the candle. When we are burning that thread, it is turning black and some vapors are coming up, which are not visible like simple ways. But when we study in detail about the candle, you can understand that. Right now, you just need to understand that melting of wax means the candle wax is changing from solid state to liquid state. And burning of candle example means when the candle is burning, that thread which is burning is not remaining after the complete candle is burnt. So that shows that burning of candle is a chemical change. And in this case also, in burning of candle, the new substance is formed. The new substance is carbon dioxide, and water vapor. Then another example which you can see around your house also is rusting of iron. When iron is left exposed to moist air means in the presence of water and oxygen, when it is exposed to water and oxygen. So what is happening? Iron combines or reacts with oxygen, and slowly it's changing into a new substance. What is that new substance? Anybody? Any idea? Yes, you must be aware of it. It forms rust. A reddish brown deposit forms over the surface of iron. Now, what is it actually? The iron is reacting with oxygen and water molecule from the atmosphere. It's not necessary that we need to pour water over it. That water can be in the vapor form also, in any form. Water can be in any form. When iron comes in contact with it, it is transforming into a new substance. Okay, that is called as rust, which is a reddish brown deposit over the surface of it. Now let's read what we have discussed today. In the beginning, we have discussed about science. What is science? Science is the subject that includes the study of various experiments performed by a scientist with all observations recorded and inferences concluded. In this subject, we mainly emphasize on experiments and its observations. Then we have discussed about the third branch of science, that is chemistry. Chemistry, the branch of science that deals with substances and their transformations. Here you have understood that when there is transformation taking place, the transformation is taking place in the composition of the substance. We find the methods of preparation in this subject and also the reactions of it with other substances, reactions of the substance with other substances. Then we have discussed about matter. What is matter? It's anything that occupies space and has mass. Then we have discussed about physical change. Physical change is a change where no new substance is formed, that is, there is no change in the substance. Example, melting of ice. Then we have discussed about chemical change. What is chemical change? In a chemical change, there is no new substance formed, that is, the original substance changes entirely. Then we have discussed about the chemical reaction. What is chemical reaction? When there is chemical change in a substance taking place, that is called as a chemical reaction. And the substance which is formed by the change or which is used up in the change is called as a chemical. So right now I am showing you this slide. You can just copy down the important points so that it can help you learning. Well, I think that you all are writing it. Let me assign you with some work so that you can learn and prepare some content which will be helpful for you when we proceed with the chapter. So what you are going to learn and write is, please note it down. What is matter? Then, what is transformation? Then, you're going to write about physical change. Then, what is a chemical change? And also, what is a chemical? So I think you all have noted it down. Let me show you the book, the chapter in the book, so that you can read it at home. I know that you don't have the books available with you right now. So this content of the book is going to help you out to study, and also maybe you can learn the definitions and some question and answers, which when we come together in the school, when we have interactive classes in the school, that time it will be helpful for you. It won't be, your work won't be delayed. So let me show you the book. The first chapter is, what is chemistry about? I suppose that the content is clear to you. You can just have a look. This is the first page of the book. What is chemistry about? Here it shows the important branch of science, chemistry. It studies, it deals with the substances and their transformations. Then there is description about substances, as we have discussed about matter. Anything that takes up space and has mass is called as matter. Then we have discussed about transformations. What is taking place? We say taken place. And the substance which is formed by or used in the chemical reaction is called as chemical. You can see so many examples in the book content also. Later on, when you see the video, you can see the examples, and in the slides also you have seen so many other examples which are not there in your book. Now in the next class we'll be discussing about how chemistry evolved. We'll be discussing about alchemy,